Good evening. Welcome to California Today. I'm Liang Zhang. Here's a preview of some of today's stories. Prosecutors presented for the first time body camera footage and 911 call recordings from the Paul Pelosi hammer attack. DePape and SFPD officers appeared in court for the Wednesday preliminary hearing. One Los Angeles City Council member is still facing criticism over racial comments and power grabs. Two recent encounters between the councilman and public spiraled into chaos. A new independent investigation shared some more information on the tragic VTA rail yard shooting that took place last year. It concluded that the employer had no prior knowledge of a co-worker planning a multi-victim shooting. Prosecutors played a police body cam video of the hammer attack on Paul Pelosi in court on Wednesday. The accused attacker, David DePape, appeared in court in an orange jumpsuit. According to officer interviews, he allegedly had 3 additional targets.
We are pleased to announce that he was held to answer to all of the charges that were filed against him, which include attempted murder, residential burglary, assault with a deadly weapon, elder abuse, and threats to a public official. What it means to be held to answer is that all of the charges will now move forward. Mr. DePape will be arraigned on December 28th in Department 22 on those charges, and he will have the opportunity, if he so wishes, to set his case for trial.
At Wednesday's preliminary hearing, prosecutors showed body cam footage and the 911 call from the night of the hammer attack on Paul Pelosi. Prosecutors also presented the hammer allegedly used by the accused attacker, David DePape. In the clip of the 911 call played in court, Paul tells the dispatcher, "There's a gentleman here waiting for my wife to come back, Nancy Pelosi." Paul then told the dispatcher he didn't know the man, but DePape answered, "I'm a friend of theirs." During the hearing, San Francisco police officer Kyle Cagney also testified, describing how he and his partner took roughly 4 minutes to respond and rang the doorbell. Cagney said Paul and DePape were both holding the hammer when the door opened, but DePape allegedly took control and struck Paul as officers asked what was going on. Body-worn camera presented in court reportedly showed DePape striking Paul. San Francisco police officer Carla Hurley, who interviewed DePape for about an hour on the day of the attack, also took to the stand. According to Hurley, DePape named 3 more targets in addition to Nancy Pelosi. The officer said DePape intended, quote, breaking Nancy's kneecaps, and then planned to target Governor Gavin Newsom, Hunter Biden, and actor Tom Hanks. DePape was arrested on October 28th for the alleged attack. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, has since issued a detainer for DePape. He is an illegal immigrant from Canada who first entered the United States through Mexico in 2008. Local prosecutors charged DePape with attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon, and elder abuse. DePape has pleaded not guilty to state and federal charges, including allegations of plans to kidnap Nancy Pelosi.
A Los Angeles City Council meeting again devolved into chaos when one councilman, Kevin De Leon, attended a vote. His colleagues and community activists have called for his resignation over racial comments and political power grabs. The councilman was also recently filmed in an alleged fight with an activist.
Shouting erupted in a Tuesday Los Angeles City Council meeting when Councilman Kevin De Leon walked into the chamber in the middle of a vote, resulting in the council president calling for a recess. De Leon then sat by himself despite colleagues and many protesters making it known that he was not welcome.
What is wrong with y'all? Y'all more caring about protecting Kevin, kicking people out of here, than getting racists off of our council.
Following a recently leaked audio recording from October 2021, where De Leon and 2 others made racial comments and talks of political power grabs, many have called De Leon to resign from office. In another incident on December 9th, De Leon and an activist got into a physical altercation. Footage from J-Town Action shows the councilman at a Christmas tree lighting event in Lincoln Heights when an activist group approached him.
Resign, Kevin! Resign, Kevin!
De Leon is in the red Santa hat and activist Jason Reedy in the green jacket. De Leon said he and his group tried to leave the building, but Reedy allegedly launched a pelvic thrust followed by a headbutt to the councilman's forehead. The councilman then appears to grab and throw Reedy, and the altercation continues outside. J-Town organizer explained the group's side of the encounter and that the group was, quote, assaulted by De Leon's supporters and were even called racial insults and slurs such as Oriental. Los Angeles police have launched an investigation into the incident between De Leon and Reedy, who have accused each other of assault.
A protest in the Central Valley is raising awareness about the suspected corruption in the prison system. It comes after an investigation revealed a high official allegedly beat inmates.
Federal correctional officers protested in front of the Bureau of Prisons regional office in Stockton, California. This comes after an Associated Press investigation reported that Deputy Regional Director Thomas Ray Hinkle was accused of beating several inmates. The picket comes as members of Congress demand answers from the agency's director after AP's reporting on Hinkle.
We're out here today to spread awareness of the corruption and the bad intentions by the upper echelon within the Federal Bureau of Prisons. When it comes to line staff, we have numerous line staff that are sent out and put on administrative leave for allegations of things, but we have members of management like the Deputy Regional Director, Mr. Ray Hinkle, who has admitted to violating inmates' civil rights, beating inmates that were restrained, and the agency was sued, and tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars was paid out to these inmates while this individual was continuously promoted up into a higher position.
AP found that the Bureau of Prisons has continued to promote Hinkle despite numerous red flags. It rewarded him again and again over a 3-decade career, while others who assaulted inmates lost their jobs and went to prison.
I was a unit manager, and I was one of the ones that was reassigned to another prison in Oregon, and I told them I was retiring. I also had reported a bunch of things that they were doing that wasn't right, that basically was way out of our policy. They weren't following the CDC guidelines for COVID. I was being harassed by my supervisor. They just were doing things that were cruel and unusual punishment for the inmates.
The Bureau of Prisons responded to detailed questions about Hinkle. The agency's new director, Colette Peters, released a statement defending him and the agency's decisions to promote him. She said Hinkle has acknowledged his past mistakes and gone through the discipline program. She is confident he has grown into an effective supervisor. At the same time, Peters said she remains committed to working within the agency, the Justice Department, and with Congress to, quote, root out staff misconduct and other concerns.
A year and a half ago, a shooting took the lives of at least 10 transportation employees in Silicon Valley. Many people wondered if the tragedy could have been prevented. Now, an independent investigation concludes that the employer had no prior knowledge that its employees was planning a multi-victim shooting. NTD's David Lamb reports.
According to investigative findings released on Monday, the Santa Clara Valley Transportation Authority, or VTA, had no prior knowledge that their employee was planning a workplace shooting in May of 2021. That's according to the Silicon Valley Transit Company's Chief of External Affairs. He said the VTA commissioned an independent outside investigator that performed a workplace investigation regarding the tragedy.
It's important to note the investigation was not a criminal investigation, a root cause analysis, nor a psychological study of the shooter's motives. The findings do establish that the VTA had no indication or warning that this event would occur.
The incident occurred at the VTA rail yard on May 26th. Employee Samuel Cassidy shot and killed 9 other coworkers before taking his own life. The investigator, Maureen Jacob, a law and employment attorney, interviewed 47 witnesses.
But importantly, our board of directors wanted to find out if there was anything we could have or should have known that might have prevented this tragedy.
Employees widely reported multiple examples of Cassidy's workplace misconduct.
I'm sure the obvious question you have is, but people said he would go postal. We cannot act on what someone thinks somebody might do. None of the 5 incidents, individually or all taken together, were sufficient to terminate the perpetrator or warrant serious discipline in any of those cases. I will say that different actions were taken after each of those events.
Cassidy's ex-wife said he used to come home resentful and angry over what he perceived as unfair assignments. In 2016, Homeland Security detained him at an airport where he possessed documents noting he hated the VTA, but contained no information about planning the shooting. Notably, Homeland Security did not notify VTA of this incident. As part of the healing process, VTA provided resources to those affected. It also demolished the primary buildings where the incident occurred. It plans for permanent memorials on and around the site. Moving forward, Lawson says the VTA is taking a close look at its systems and security. It is also doing a robust review of the current work environment, as well as a study of the VTA's culture and climate. David Lamb, NTD News, California.
Authorities found hundreds of marijuana plants after a home in Southern California caught fire. The Los Angeles County Fire Department responded to an empty house fire in Covina on Monday. There, they discovered 400 marijuana plants inside. The fire department said the 2-story building was burning for over 2 hours. No arrests were made. An investigation is ongoing. We're going to take a short break, but here's a look at what we got for you when we come back. Mountain lions are making headlines in Los Angeles. Animal officials have captured a famous mountain lion that roams the city for a health checkup. Researchers are looking for ways to keep produce fresher longer. We'll look at some of the techniques they're using in the Golden State to accomplish that. And the famous Queen Mary ship is reopening to the public. Guests lucky enough to secure tickets will receive a free guided tour of the ship. That and more on California Today. Welcome back to California Today. I'm your host, Liang Zhang. A famous mountain lion in Los Angeles has been captured. National Park Service officials say the wildcat is in need of a health checkup.
P-22, a wild Southland lion tracked by the National Park Service, was captured for health concerns on December 12th. Twitter user Friend of P-22 posted photos of the tranquilized lion and wrote, "P-22 was captured in our backyard. Some animal control guys told us there's a lion in your yard. They tranquilized him and took him to LA Zoo for observation. Quite a day." Known as Hollywood Cat, it roams the residential areas of Los Angeles. His many adventures include crossing a pair of busy LA freeways to claim new territory and being a suspect in the killing of a koala at the LA Zoo, which made him a favorite of the media. The mountain lion's recent attacks on pet dogs in the area raised concerns among experts who think he, quote, may be exhibiting signs of distress associated with the aging and lack of habitat connectivity. The agencies announced last week their plans to capture the lion for a full health evaluation. The California Department of Fish and Wildlife and National Park Service said in a joint statement that P-22 appeared to be in decent health after the initial examination but will be further evaluated.
People are trying to extend produce life with technology, from special coating to temperature and hormone adjustments. Companies from California and other states are all taking a bite of the appealing technology.
Agri-tech companies are using science to try to extend the life of produce and help prevent food waste. Using eco-friendly methods to keep produce fresher is a growing industry. Academics are testing many new techniques. Appeal Sciences, a California company, applies a plant-based coating to uneaten produce skin to try to increase shelf life and prevent waste. One of their bigger markets is avocados. SavorPack, also California-based, has created a chemical-free patch that controls moisture and fends off external bacteria. The company claims that it helps produce last 3 times longer. In other parts of the country, companies are looking to control the ripening process. Chicago-based Hazel Technologies created a small sachet that can slow the ripening of apples by inhibiting the naturally occurring hormone ethylene.
It's very small. Yeah, this one is about 250 milligrams. We've demonstrated with the data that you can just pop this in, whether it's naked in the box, which would be just the fruit in the box, or whether there's some type of packaging. This will work with both of those situations.
Wittenbach Orchards in Michigan and the package and storage facility it uses, Bell Harvest, have started using the sachets. It's part of an arsenal of techniques that also include temperature control and oxygen deprivation to keep apples as fresh as possible, even many months after harvest.
And so there's a constant balance that needs to occur in the supply chain with how much ethylene is there, how much temperature is there, how much oxygen is there, how much CO2 is there.
Elizabeth Pauls, a 5th-generation apple grower at Wittenbach, says using these techniques is a must as consumers demand fresh, crisp apples all year round. Each fall, she says workers at Wittenbach Orchards pick an average of 6.5 million pounds of apples.
And I want that fruit to be able to come out of storage and all get to the grocery store, not half of it or 3/4 of it.
Modern storage techniques make it increasingly possible for consumers to find crisper apples year-round.
That the plan wasn't to store, all year at all. The goal was probably 3, maybe 6 months, but they were a long ways from that when we started out.
Eventually, Hazel Technology says its sachets could go right into grocery packaging, as Saver Packs already do. Both companies are also working on products that consumers can use at home and extend the life of many types of produce.
The iconic Queen Mary is pleased to announce they will welcome visitors back on board. To celebrate the reopening, some lucky guests will get a free guided tour on the ship. But unfortunately for those who didn't get on the list this time, spots are already sold out.
On Thursday, December 15th, the Queen Mary is scheduled to reopen to the public in Long Beach after a summer of much-needed repairs. That's after the city announced another round of repairs earlier this year. To thank the community for their patience and support during the closure, the city offered, for a limited time, free guided tours. But they're already fully booked. This is the first time the Queen Mary has been available to the public since March of 2020. The limited guided tours offer a 1-hour tour with a historical docent. Guests will get to view certain parts of Queen Mary, such as the promenade deck and other scenic views. For the first time in 40 years, Long Beach, which took control of Queen Mary in June of 2021, took the initiative to have the ship repaired. First District Councilwoman Mary Sendejas said, "The Queen Mary has been an icon of our Long Beach shoreline for 55 years. We remain dedicated in our efforts to preserve the ship's history and structural safety. I look forward to welcoming the community back on board." The remainder of the critical repairs are scheduled for early 2023. The ship originally closed during the COVID-19 lockdowns in March 2020. It then remained unavailable to the public due to repairs. The city has created a webpage, Queen's Mary Updates, to keep the public informed. It includes the economic impacts to the city and the historical overview of Queen Mary.
Now to NTD's Thomas Christian for an update on sports.
I'm Thomas Christian, giving you the California Today Sports Roundup. Star shortstop Carlos Correa and the San Francisco Giants have agreed to a $350 million 13-year contract. Correa's guarantee will be the 4th largest in baseball history. Correa also was a free agent 1 year ago after leaving the Houston Astros, when he reached a $105.3 million deal with the Minnesota Twins. That agreement gave him the right to opt out after 1 year and $35 million to hit the market again. Correa hit .291 with 22 home runs and 64 RBIs in his one season with Minnesota. The 28-year-old Correa indeed moved once more, this time to a Giants team that recently missed out in its bid to sign free agent Aaron Judge. San Francisco's current shortstop, Brandon Crawford, a three-time All-Star, has been the Giants' man in the middle since 2011. Crawford turns 36 next month and slumped to a .231 average with 9 homers and 52 RBIs last season, down from a .298 with 24 homers and 90 RBIs in 2021. He can become a free agent after next season, which he may choose to do if Correa beats the Golden Glove winner out for his starting spot. Let's swing over to the NBA. Anthony Davis scored 37 points and grabbed 12 rebounds, and LeBron James tallied 33 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists as the Lakers lost for the 4th time in their last 5 games. Los Angeles lost in its return home after going 3-3 on a season-long 6-game road trip to the East Coast. The Celtics' deadly wing pair put on a show in LA as Jason Tatum scored 44 points and Jaylen Brown added 25 and 15 rebounds. First place Boston was upended by the Golden State Warriors and Los Angeles Clippers while losing consecutive games for just the second time this season. Russell Westbrook scored 20 points and snared 14 rebounds for the Lakers, who trailed by 20 points in the third quarter. Los Angeles turned it around with an 18-0 run to surge ahead 106-93, but Boston closed regulation on a 17-4 tear to force overtime. Celtics 122, Lakers 118. The Sixers' Joel Embiid scored 31 points and James Harden added 21, 15 assists, 7 rebounds, and 5 steals as host Philadelphia defeated Sacramento. Domantas Sabonis led the Kings with 22 points and 10 rebounds, Malik Monk added 16, and De'Aaron Fox had 13 in his return from right foot soreness. Still, the Sixers led 80-55 at halftime after Harden dropped a three-pointer from the wing at the buzzer. It was the most points the Sixers scored in a first half all season. The Kings are now 14-12 in 7th place after a hot start to the year. 76ers 123, Kings 103. Giannis Antetokounmpo scored a game-high 30 points to go along with 12 rebounds and led a parade to the free throw line as Milwaukee blitzed visiting Golden State in a nationally televised game. Antetokounmpo went 11 for 17 at the line, and his teammates made all 15 of their foul shots as the Bucks ran up a 26-15 advantage in free throw points. Stephen Curry had a team-high 20 points in 27 minutes for Golden State, which was opening its longest trip of the season, a 6-game stretch. Bucks 128, Warriors 111.
And that's all for the sports.
That's all we've got for you tonight. We'd like you to join us again on California Today every weekday at 8:30 p.m. Make sure to check out our broadcasts on our California Today webpage. You can find it at ntd.com/California-today. You can also find all of our top latest clips there, ready to share with friends and family. Send us a message on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, or through our email, california.today@ntd.com. I'm Liang Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.